This is Learning with Coach History. This is the second of 6 lessons on the Roaring Twenties. Today is post-war issues. In this lesson, you're going to learn about life in post-war America. The key terms and people: xenophobia, nativism, isolationism, communism, anarchists, Sacco and Vanzetti, the quota system, and John L. Lewis. World War I left much of America divided about the League of Nations. The war hurt the economy. Returning soldiers took jobs away from women and minorities or faced unemployment themselves. Xenophobia, nativism, and isolationism swept America as people became suspicious of foreigners and wanted to pull away from world affairs. Americans feared communism, an economic and political system that supports government control over property to create equality. Communists came to power in Russia after a violent revolution that caused the Russian Tsar to step down. Vladimir Lenin and a group called the Bolsheviks established a communist state. These communists, or Reds, waved their flag and called for a worldwide revolution to overthrow capitalism. In the United States, about 70,000 people joined the Communist Party. A fear of communists, known as the Red Scare, swept the nation. Attorney General Mitchell Palmer and his agents hunted suspected communists, socialists, and anarchists who opposed all forms of government. Palmer's agents ignored people's civil rights. They never found evidence of a plot to overthrow the government, but the Red Scare made people mistrust foreigners, such as Italian immigrants, Nicola Sacco, and Bartholomew Vanzetti. Self-proclaimed anarchists, Sacco and Vanzetti, were arrested for robbery and murder. They denied these charges. The case against them was weak, but they were convicted. Many people protested the conviction. They said it was based on a fear of foreigners. The two were executed in 1927. Some Americans used the Red Scare as an excuse to act against any people who were different. For example, the Ku Klux Klan used violence to keep certain groups in their place. These included blacks, Jews, Roman Catholics, immigrants, and union leaders. As a result of nativism or anti-immigrant feelings, Congress passed the Emergency Quota Act of 1921. It established a quota system, which set a limit on how many immigrants from each country could enter the United States each year. In 1924, a new quota limited immigration from Eastern and Southern Europe, mostly Jews and Roman Catholics. The 1924 law also banned Japanese immigrants. It did not affect immigrants from the Western Hemisphere, such as those from Canada and Mexico. During World War I, there were no strikes because they might hurt the war effort. But in 1919, several strikes occurred. First, Boston police went on strike for a raise and to have a union. Massachusetts Governor Calvin Coolidge used force to put down the strike. Then a strike by steel workers began at U.S. Steel Corporation. Workers wanted to join unions. In 1923, a report revealed harsh conditions in steel mills. Public opinion turned against steel companies, and workers were given an 8-hour workday. But they still had no union. Next, John L. Lewis, the president of the United Mine Workers, had workers close the coal mines. President Wilson helped settle the dispute so that the miners got higher wages, but they did not get shorter hours. During the 1920s, union membership declined from 5 million to 3.5 million because immigrants were willing to work in poor conditions. Language barriers made organizing people difficult. Farmers who had migrated to cities were used to relying on themselves, and most union excluded African Americans.